Everybody out of the water! There's sharks in the water!
Thinking they grew too fast. I didn't know this. I read an article in Forbes, on Instagram, where they were saying they're the most, they have the most fast, it's the biggest fast food chain in the world with the most locations. I'm like, more than McDonald's? And yeah, and now they got too big too quick. And then everyone realized it's,
though.
Yeah, but they realize it's doo-doo food. So they're
rolling.
like,
we be rolling. And so hey everybody, happy new year, fucking all that bullshit.
2020. Woo!
Again, it's your Commodore Alec guiding you through rough waters, and your assistant coach Jeff.
Hi there.
And we're starting the new year off with a bang.
Yep.
We got a cool guy.
Real cool
guy, fashionable, all that type of shit. He wears nice clothes and stuff. He goes to fancy steakhouses for New Year's.
He does do that
with his lady love and stuff like that. He treats her nice. That's good to hear. That's good. That's good. There's chivalry isn't completely dead.
No, not with this guy.
Not with him, at least. I might date him. Fuck it. I don't know.
Debating. Business.
Our family has mad history, so. Oh, actually,
that's weird.
So, do you know what?
But cool.
It's funny. I was actually talking to my mom about it the other day. When my mom moved to the cities, your mom and dad were her first roommates.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
Wait, say that again.
My mom lived with with his parents.
She said that at Christmas.
Yeah,
yeah.
Their first roommates. It's wild. They've known each other fucking since my mom was like 18.
But I love how it's funny how he I think you were gone or you were printing, and then I went to his office and Blake was like, "So wait, you said something like the first thing about Alec? I think I know him or something, or I know." And I was just like, "Huh? What do you mean?" And then he kind of broke it down with Molly and shit.
Oh yeah. And then I asked Molly, and she's like, "Yeah, I know him."
Yeah.
Or I sent her a picture. Good. I sent her the picture of her. Yeah.
Was that the response you were looking for? Blake's like, I was hoping a little bit better than that, but.
We are here with Mr. Blake Anderson. He is our cut and sew wizard. We'll dive into all that.
I like that. You are the wizard.
The cut and sew wizard. But thanks for and it's early as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, it's 8:30 right now.
That's not that early, bro.
Yeah. For a podcast, I think it is.
Yeah, but
because I usually don't wake up till at least this time. So I had to get up at 6:30. 6 o'clock this morning.
New year, new you, Alec.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say something about having a kid, and I'm like, well, I didn't.
Oh no,
you have a kid?
No,
I didn't do that.
No, it's all good. I never put that on people just because I have a kid. That was my choice.
It's early in the morning. Yeah. You had I have a kid. Yeah, I'm like, well, fucking.
And you're like, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah. But thanks for coming here, dude.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Thanks, man.
First podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Your first ever podcast.
First podcast ever.
There we go.
Get that up. That's good.
Hell yeah, we got him first. But we're gonna dive into some stuff. Kind of shed some light on the whole cut and sew game and what that means, what that entails, how you got into it, and all that. But first, I guess we can just start out. You grew up locally here in Minnesota, Maple Grove, right?
Yep, Maple Grove, Minnesota.
Maple Grove, cool. And I guess we can just start out. Where have you always been into clothing, fashion, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So it started probably when I was about 15 years old. Used to go up to Alexandria, Minnesota. My parents had a cabin up there, and there was a local board shop up there called Faction.
I actually know that place.
Yeah, Faction Board Shop.
Yeah.
Now it's called Faction Marine,
I
believe.
That's crazy.
I used to live there, and
really?
Basically, I would go up there every day. We'd go for the weekend, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would hang out there all day. My parents used to go up there every weekend of the summer, so really I was hanging out at that board shop every weekend. Then I'd be, shopping there, of course, just as you're sitting there watching skateboard videos. it's hard not to just, buy shit.
For sure, yeah.
I feel like that's
So-
like Panuski's in Anoka. You ever
Yep,
been there?
Yep.
Fucking loved that place.
It's like a board shop.
It's all
Yep.
skateboarding,
That's dope.
wakeboarding, all that kind of stuff. I used to go in there all the time. And
Yep.
yeah, it's just it's like it was an old house
Right.
that they stripped out and just
Kind of like Cal Surf, man.
Yeah.
Like in Uptown, it's
Yeah.
still a house.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're still there.
fucking
but
I think they had like a half pipe out back too and shit. And people would just skate there and whatnot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was cool though. They let me hang out there. I used to help them sweep, help them
No shit.
clean
Yeah.
shit up. Like I was kind of like their guy, assistant.
That they didn't have to pay and shit. That's
Yep.
cool.
I love it.
They're like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, hang out as long as you
Hey
want.
man,
Yeah, so that
hey
was
man,
like-
that toilet backed up. You got that, bro? Thanks.
That was like ages 13 through 16. I'd even say like 17, 18, but basically I was hanging out there
Yeah.
quite a bit. And so that's what kind of gauged my interest in action sports. I guess you call it fashion.
Sure,
'Cause
yeah,
you,
yeah.
you grew up on. Did you always live on what's that lake?
Fish Lake.
Did
yeah.
you? So were you
Yep.
big into like wakeboarding and
Yep,
everything like that?
wakeboarding, wake skating,
Fuck yeah.
wake surfing,
Cool.
snowboarding. I sucked at skateboarding. I absolutely sucked at skateboarding.
Yeah, I think it's the hardest one.
I was the guy in the crew that was, rolling around with the video camera.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Filming my friends like
Yeah.
Squid from Rocket
Yeah,
Power.
yeah. That's dope though.
Yeah.
You
So-
always need that guy in the crew though. So.
Yeah, no, they needed me.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where the interest started. Just I loved watching those type of videos with the snowboarding videos, skateboarding videos, any type of action sport video like
Right.
that. And they're like strong into pushing their brand on all those videos. And
Oh yeah.
so that's when I like started to gauge the interest of branding and just being in the retail setting
Right.
like that. Yeah.
So you overall, obviously at a young age, you got into, I guess, more streetwear. The extreme sport type aspect of clothing and everything. When did you kind of figure out, hey, this is I think I can do this, or I want in some facet.
Yep.
You were like, hey, I want to pursue clothing.
Yep. So hanging out there definitely inspired me to start my own brand actually, and that was called Frosty Headwear. That all started between the combination of like basically living at Faction Board Shop
Yep.
and being in the action sports scene and like doing it
Yeah.
myself. Brent Johnson, my neighbor, he follows you guys. He loves your brand actually.
rad.
Oh, dope.
And
cool.
he was my neighbor. His mom actually taught us how to knit.
Oh, cool.
And so
That's sick.
when I learned how to knit, that's when I was like, shit, I want to
So
start
the
a
light
business
bulb
out of
just-
this.
So like
Was
went-
it all like beanies and stuff like that
Yep.
you got into, dude? Fucking
So
beanies are.
So it was,
That's
I
what's
was
up.
I was 15 years old when I filed the LLC. Set
Good
up
for
a
you,
bank
man.
account. 15 years old and
Real quick on that point, did you right there with the LLC and the bank account? Did you like ask your parents like, "Hey, is this what I'm supposed to do?" Or did you just like, because shit, this was a while ago, right?
Yeah.
How did you know to do that at that point?
Yep, they helped me with that.
Did they? Cool. That's
yeah,
awesome.
They helped me
Good
with that.
parents.
And that was like, one of my first steps into the business world was when I was 15 years old.
That's sick.
And then just, working, like basically assisting the Faction Board Shop. I learned a lot about what they were doing and how they got inventory and all that at a young age,
Sure.
which was cool. But yeah, so I started that and then did that throughout high school actually. Like 15 through 19 is when I did Frosty Headwear. And basically I just couldn't scale it.
Oh, okay.
It takes about 2 hours to knit one hat.
Jesus.
And
That
I was
makes sense.
actually, I sold, it was my first purchase order actually of wholesale, was to Panuski's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I used to sell them at Panuski's and Faction Board
So-
Shop.
I just see Blake. My fingers.
My
hurt.
finger. Hey man, I need 30 beanies.
Yeah.
It's been 2 hours.
Shit. It's gonna be about 2 years. I got you. So, you were obviously
I
at
had
a young
team,
age.
though. I had a
Oh,
team.
yeah,
My
yeah.
friends helped me.
Cool,
But,
cool.
we used to go to Soundset and
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'd actually make, a couple $1,000s at Soundset.
Easy day. Yeah.
we'd knit like all week, preparing all month before.
Right.
Like we didn't just knit a couple hats. Like
Right,
we
right, right.
came prepared with like 60,
Dope.
like at least 60 beanies that we were
for
selling.
the hipsters.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
That sounds
Yeah, and
keep that head warm during the summer.
That's
Set,
right. Right. Yeah. Head's warm during the summertime. Yeah.
My first sound set was actually like a cold, rainy day.
Oh, shit.
And so
Perfect.
It like
yeah.
really sparked it.
What'd you
in
sell the
right
beanies
direction.
for?
25.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got in. So you were in the whole retail game. What was there from seeing the retail aspect of it at such an early age? Were you ever like, I might want to get into retail? Because you could have gone either way. Whether either you create your own stuff or get into retail. What kind of pushed the retail aside into?
So it's funny. You asked my mom, and she'll definitely back me on this. I wanted to start a faction board shop in Maple Grove.
Okay.
And
That's awesome.
that was like probably a year before I started Frosty Headwear. And I was actually contacting like Burton reps and like Neff Headwear. And like I was like literally like 15, 16 years old contacting these big companies and just putting together a nice copy paste email that I was just sending out to all these major companies. And my mom, like, all of a sudden, like, I'm like, yeah, so I got all these accounts ready to go. None of them are in the area, of Maple Grove, because that was a big thing. Like, you can't be within, like, 30 miles or something to gain their account.
Sure.
And so I figured out a list of brands that I could actually carry in Maple Grove. And my mom's like, you can't do this. She's like, you can't start this. You can't start a board shop in Maple Grove. It's way too expensive.
Which is fucking true.
Yeah, it's
because that's
super expensive.
Were you looking at like the Arbor Lakes area?
Just in Maple Grove.
Just in
I
Maple
didn't care.
Grove, yeah.
Yeah, because this is a while back.
Because
there
was actually
15.
nothing. There was nothing like it.
Yeah.
There was nothing like it. There wasn't even PacSun. So there was
I don't
PacSun
even
there
think
now.
there is. There's not even in the Arbor
Zoomies,
Lakes
Tilly's
area or
wasn't
anything.
around. That
There's
shit
not
wasn't
even
going on
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
time.
There's not even a board shop or anything
Yeah,
over
so-
there. You got PacSun.
That doesn't count.
Well, that wasn't even there even. So
Yeah.
like literally there was nothing.
There's not even a Zoomies over there.
No.
Even
you had to
now.
go to like Ridgedale,
Yeah,
basically,
right.
To shop. And then a lot of people would ask me, where did you get that hoodie? Where did you get that T-shirt? Like all that kind of stuff.
Where'd you get it?
Faction.
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
Faction board shop.
Well, and this is like pre-social media.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like you had to go to the retail shop, excuse me, to get it. And yeah, I mean, e-commerce wasn't happening. So
Yeah.
the idea that you had of having a store would have been extremely successful
I
at
was
the
on
time.
point. Yeah, I was
you
on
were on
point.
point with like the I guess the evolution of like where technology was at that time.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But yeah, so your mom talked you out saying like basically just way too much money.
There's no way. And I was crushed. I was absolutely
Totally.
crushed. Like I was, when I get my mind set on something,
Yo,
I get super
I'm the same way.
motivated
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I like to sprint, and I'm learning that I need to jog like with some things, but
Steady pace.
yeah.
Like a 3.5 on the treadmill. Just jog it out,
Yeah.
Light and easy, baby.
jog,
yeah,
yeah.
light jog. Because that was my mentality. The same way with me with this brand when we started. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and I'm like, pump the brakes. I'm
Yeah.
like, hold up a little bit.
So then, when your mom told you, "Hey, you're a fucking idiot. Don't do that."
Yeah.
What
quote.
was
Did
your
she say that?
quote? I
Did you hit her up?
I hit her up. I hit her up, and
We
she
asked
said,
her this morning before
yep.
you came in. It's cool.
I was super upset.
What was your mindset after that? Were you like, okay, well, if I'm not going to do this, what next?
What was
What's
the
next
pivot?
for me?
Well, it was kind of natural, like how it came about after that. So that was my interest, Even growing up, I was the kid walking around shoveling people's driveways.
Yep.
Fuck that shit.
That and lemonade stands, like it's always been in my blood to like kind of do my own hustle and
Do something.
make my own money.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where it like transpired. Is that idea turned into Frosty Headwear?
So why headwear?
Why
Headwear? Why'd you decide to go into beanies?
So how it all started was Brent's mom actually knitted us a couple hats.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And then people are like, "Wow, that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Like that's a really cool hat." where'd you get it? And I just,
Light
I
bulb
said
went
Brent's
off.
mom.
Bing.
Brent's mom made it for me.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wow, can I get one? And then that's when it started to turn the wheels on being a business. And then me and Brent actually started it, and we called it BB Headwear. BB Headwear for Brent and Blake.
Yes.
And
love
then as that went on, that didn't last very long. Like BB Headwear, that name didn't stick.
Right.
And I wanted to turn it into a Neff Headwear. Neff was one of my favorite brands.
Yeah, he
growing
blew
up.
Not the
up.
fucking, what do you even call them in Zoomies and shit?
Yeah,
the
he's
the they have the stand, but it's like a
the rotating. Yeah.
fucking.
Neff
still
was
have a
huge, man.
shit
I don't
ton
think
of
he's
them.
big
That
as
was my
big
favorite
anymore.
one.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
huge on. Yeah, he was kind of like the pinnacle
So
of that.
Faction carried that brand, and it just inspired me to kind of be like them.
Sure.
And I honestly forget how I came up with Frosty, but I just love that name. Like I always had the mindset where people are gonna be saying, instead of like that's cool, like
That's
they'd be
Frosty.
saying that's Frosty.
Nice.
Stay frosty.
Like
my
I
friend.
always
Sorry, bro.
always-
Wendy's
always thought
trademarked that term. Frosties. They actually did.
Yeah,
So
and that's
Mhm.
that was actually why
Smart.
I lost my passion towards it. Was when I was like 19ish.
Yep.
That's when I figured out that Wendy's owned the trademark, and then it was to put it on clothing as well. It wasn't
Right.
just for
So they
the
scooped,
shake or
they,
whatever.
They
Oh, they
scooped
scooped.
up everything.
Yeah,
They're no
yeah.
dummies. They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Dave
they
Thomas.
They picked up the right trademark class, and then I could not get around it, and I kept on putting in money to try and get it.
That's a black hole, dude. You're done.
So
yeah.
I lost like $2,000. That's literally about how much I even had in the business. And
Sure.
I was like, I can't do this without owning the trademark. I'm not going to put all this time and effort into building this.
Mhm.
But how Frosty was successful was people would tell me, how they wanted to customize them.
Okay.
I didn't carry inventory. People would tell me, I want a black and white one. I want to put 2 stripes in the center, and I want to match them with my Jordans. And literally some kids at my high school would buy a Frosty hat to match every pair of shoes they
That's
had.
awesome.
So that's how the
some kids
kinda-
literally had like 8 of these hats.
That's awesome. Yeah, you
But-
switch them out on different
but
outfits
that's-
for sure.
Yeah, so that's kind of how so Frosty turned into Visionary eventually, you know what I mean? Like with that made to order custom.
Yep.
Like it was in my blood, just
You
as
evolved
I-
the concept to a bigger scale because you
Yeah,
did hats,
yep.
and now you do everything.
Yep.
From joggers, jackets, whatever.
Yeah, so that was definitely my stepping stone into business and into Visionary for sure.
It's crazy to me because very similar stories. Like I commend you on like the intro. You got knocked down twice, pretty heavy.
Yeah.
The thing with your mom in the store, that's a blow. Most people would quit.
I put a lot of time into hitting
Right.
up
Well,
those
yeah,
suppliers
hitting
and
up the
shit.
vendors, and I
Yeah.
mean, you're a 15-year-old kid. 15-year-old kids aren't doing shit like that. And then the second one is the Frosty.
the
Because
trademark.
Wendy's got it,
Yeah.
and it's like, I had a trademark situation when I started my brand, and it was like, this is it. Like, either you have to get this or you're done. Like, you have to dissolve the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
it sucks.
I give you a lot of credit, man, getting knocked down twice right away like that. So
Yeah, and that happened at a young age, which was
Right.
good for me. But yeah, that entirely turned into Visionary, what Visionary is
turned
today.
out for the better, right?
Because I took that exact same model of people telling me what they want to make, and instead of just a knitted hat, it's literally everything now.
All right, so let's get in the meat and potatoes of everything. When did
Love it. Meat and potatoes.
so Frosty Headwear's done. When and how did you take the steps into, because you obviously realize, hey, there's a market for customizing things for people.
Yep.
When did you have the idea, okay, fuck hats,
Yeah.
let's do it all?
Yeah. So lacrosse was actually, like, the sport lacrosse was a big part of my life in high school. I'd say even around that time, 15 and up, like when I graduated. And
You played?
yep.
I started the
that was-
Wyzetta team.
You're what?
I started the Wyzetta lacrosse team.
Oh, you started it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the whole
I
thing.
played, I played Minnesota Select for 2 years.
Oh, no shit.
When I was 17 and
What position were you?
18, midfield.
Yeah, me too.
Nice.
I wonder if we ever played each other.
Nice.
Yeah, so
That
that's crazy. I started
yeah.
the team at YZeta because they're all like, this sport's stupid. I'm like, no, this is the next wave.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this is
Yep.
going to take off. And then now it's a varsity sport.
Yep.
They play on the, $7 million field, but that's crazy. No shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So my passion with lacrosse was like really strong as I was in high school. And I was doing Minnesota Select and traveling around trying to get picked up by, Division 1 was a long-term goal, but I knew I was going to be a Division 3 player.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go that route anyways because it's a lot more laid back than Division 1. But anyways, like that goal and that passion of mine was really strong, and I really wanted to play NCAA lacrosse. And
That's awesome.
I ended up going to Concordia, Wisconsin, and they had a Division 3 program. Absolutely hated it. Absolutely hated it. I went out there not knowing a single person.
Yeah.
And that was I'd say the biggest risk I have ever taken for, how much I don't trust people and being the only one out there.
Right.
I don't have anyone to fall back on. My parents are 8 hours away, whatever. It was like suburbs of Milwaukee.
Yeah. I've been there.
It was like the
It's not
St.
fun.
Thomas of Wisconsin, just all these, rich, stuck-up kids, and I don't mesh well with that. What ended up happening was my ex-girlfriend ended up cheating on me.
Fuck
with
yeah, love it.
Couple of my teammates.
Ooh, sweet.
So
Yes.
So now lacrosse is fucking...
that's when I was like, fuck this, fuck everyone. Why didn't anyone on my goddamn team tell me that this was going down?
Right.
Like, I just looked like a fool. But
Sure.
ended up dropping out and moving back to Minneapolis. And that's when I went to MCTC. And when I was at MCTC, I was just trying to figure out what I was going to do. And did my generals for like a year. And then started working with this supplier in San Diego as a sales rep for Cut and Sew. And that's when this kind of started to turn into my career. I was doing sales for them. They just weren't treating my customers fairly. I brought them Studio 23, if you guys know Studio 23.
Yep.
They like put me in a really bad situation with them, and that was like my biggest lead at the time.
Wow.
And I was like, if you're not going to take care of my customers, I'm not going to do this.
Totally, yeah.
So then I find a supplier in New Jersey that sells just headwear and bags and labels, and kind of the same thing. I didn't have enough control. I wasn't making as much commission as I could.
Sure.
And, so the first one in San Diego, they do more of apparel. New Jersey, they were doing more hats and bags and labels. And that's when I'm like, well, why isn't there something that sells everything?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when Visionary started to
Yeah, right.
turn into something. I actually developed the idea for about a year before I even launched it, released it, released the website and everything.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of, suppliers that I was gaining, building the website, and Visionary was actually going to be more of a blog on how to start and grow a clothing brand.
Okay.
But I'm like as I thought about it and over the year of developing that, I was like, I don't know shit about the clothing industry and like providing that value yet.
Right.
Like, I've been through some troubles like within it, like getting the trademark and
Yep.
all that, but I didn't know enough to be able to like start my own blog and be like,
Thank you. That actually makes me feel really
Right.
fucking good, because you could have easily just rode that wave and been like, here's how you start a successful clothing
Yeah.
brand. And then the dude behind it
doesn't know.
doesn't know
know shit.
doesn't know shit, has made some beanies and
Yeah.
stuff, and he's like trying to tell all these people how to start
Exactly.
it. That makes me feel good for that you weren't a piece of shit, so fucking good on you for that.
That you're not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you did your homework. It's good.
Yeah.
Credibility is everything, right?
Yeah. So that turned into what I do today. So me deciding, that's just not how I want to help these clothing brands. I want to help them with their supplies. Because when I found that headwear supplier in New Jersey, I knew about them because I was getting my cut and sew Frosty hats from them. So
right.
that was one of my suppliers for Frosty. So I didn't just make knitted hats. I designed like cut and sewn hats as well. And I realized how much cut and sewn product can really change a business for an apparel brand. You're putting your inside tag on the hat. Inside taping is custom on the hat, saying Frosty Headwear on the inside. The outside has a leather patch. You can just get as custom as you want and create an actual product. So just learning that through what I went through, that's how Visionary really started.
So when was your official start date for Visionary?
Hard launch.
2015.
2015. So you've been doing it.
It's the year after we've been getting this.
2015, and then I developed it. 2014 to 2015.
So okay, let's talk about your first ever product that you made
for Visionary.
I want to hear it. Was it a fucking disaster or did it go pretty smooth?
It went pretty well. So
he's like, it was beanies.
So
they were beanies.
So I didn't just like jump into it. I was working at a screen print embroidery shop at the time of starting it, actually, and they were letting me contract.
Was it the place I know?
Yep. They were letting me contract out of there, and
what's the place? Am I in the dark here?
No.
You guys have weird faces.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I was contracting out of there, and I was also working as basically like a factory worker.
Yeah,
sure.
Same time I was doing that, I was going to MCTC. I switched up my degree to apparel technologies. So I was learning the whole process on cut and sew, making a cutting pattern, learning how to sew. I failed the sewing class literally 3 times. I took that sewing class literally 3 semesters.
Yeah.
And you're only supposed to take it 1 semester.
Yeah.
And I took it 3 semesters because I could not sew.
It's hard.
I love your determination though. You just no quitting.
I was like, I want to learn how to do this. And what I learned within that, going to that school and that program was, I want to sell this shit. I don't want to make this shit. I don't want to be, in the back fucking sewing.
Fingers hurting.
That's not why I want to start. I've always been, a salesman deep down, and I never really wanted to do that. So ended up actually dropping out of MCTC apparel technology program because I had Visionary actually starting to catch some steam.
Sure.
I already had a job working at the screen print embroidery shop, doing sales for the spot in New Jersey. So I had a couple streams of income, and I was just like, this is exactly what I'm going to be doing with this degree anyways.
Right.
But I don't need to be taking this sewing class 3 times. Learning how to make a cutting pattern is so hard too. It's just, I respect the craft a lot. Just knowing what I went through.
I think it's cool, man. You went through even though you dropped out, that was the success part, because you realized it just pivoted your mindset of what you actually want to do. You're like, I don't want to be behind the scenes knitting, A
lot of people don't even know the process of cut and sew, and that was probably the best thing I could take away from that school, was just learning the entire process, learning how to set up a production line even.
Right.
I don't know. It all happened for the right reason.
Yeah, man. I always try to think it's weird. I look at stuff now, hearing your story and myself, and what we do here is, it's those moments that are just, it's so corny, but those pitfalls where you're like, oh, this is fucked. It actually then, fast forward 5 months later, it was the best thing that could have happened. Okay. You're like, thank God, and it's just, it's hard in that moment, you're just we've been here, we've had meetings, I'm like, oh, fuck, this is awful. And then we look back at it, I'm like, dude, I'm so glad that shit happened.
I look at it in terms of the very first dabble into cut and sew. which everyone says it can either make or break your business.
Yeah, I mean, big
And-
names. Like I told you, like you probably have it. I seen your website's really nice, by the way, where you put the blogs. But Bobby Hundreds talks about it. He's like, that will literally cut and sew can destroy a business.
Yeah.
Like instantly
And
overnight.
it's funny because the first experience with cut and sew was not a good one.
No.
But because of that, it led us to meeting you and then continuing to, just add to the mix of things. And now, there's so much custom shit that we're doing through you that's coming out that is going to be.
Yeah, it makes
gonna be
it like,
rad.
I think and the cool thing is like going through such a shit experience and now working with someone like you that actually gives a shit and understands it. My expectations are pretty high because I'm like, I'm not letting anyone fuck me over again. Like, you know what I mean? So I've got this wall built up.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it. It's like trust. You got to build trust in people. And, I literally get 20 plus vendors a day hitting me up. Oh, we'll make this. A lot of times they're not saying full sentences and it's overseas, which I get that. I'm fine with overseas, but it's that one-on-one communicating. 'Cause clothing isn't something you just look at it on a picture and go, yep, sounds good. It's like you got to feel the fabric. You got to know how it fits. You got to test run it a bunch of times before you land on that final product. But you make that process very smooth. And I think your whole business model is you're filling a void. That's what I think's exciting about your brand is that people don't understand the process. Like these bigger name brands, like a Hurley or something.
Yeah.
They've been down the shitty path years and years ago, but they have a full team. They've got like 12 of you on staff at Hurley, at Hurley office.
So many of my customers don't understand that my role is needed within their business.
100%.
If they want to be a designer or they want to be a photographer, content curator, whatever, regardless, they need someone like me handling all the bullshit in development while they continue the brand and give me designs and focus on the content curation.
So we keep throwing out the term cut and sew, and some people are probably, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you just want to give kind of a brief overview of what cut and sew really is to the the nitty gritty, what comes down to it?
How I like to quickly explain it is pretty much it's a puzzle. The sleeve is a piece of the puzzle, the chest and the torso is a piece of the puzzle, the hood on a hoodie is a piece of the puzzle. That's all laid flat, and it starts with a cutting pattern and raw material. So you're literally putting the cutting pattern on top of the material and cutting out the pieces of the puzzle, and then you're sewing the pieces together to create the product.
So,
Custom. And that's the thing. There's a difference in the blank world, to the cut and sew world. Because that's what the thing is. Like a lot of clothing brands, like a T-shirt and this and that. I mean, they had to make it from, obviously the fabric or raw material. But, when you're purchasing blanks, it's very different where they mass produce the same product, same color in hundreds of thousands of units.
Yeah.
But your brand is taking a hoodie and then you can just do these cool little tweaks, basically whatever you want to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then I actually used to just contract screen print and embroidery services out of that shop. And I found a couple of cut and sew suppliers that I, saw value in. And it's kind of bad to say this, but I was risking, other people's projects with these suppliers. But, I would do the right thing if anything went bad. But basically I would send the supplier, the full payment and cross my fingers at first.
Right.
And that was like around 2016. That's when I created like my first cut and sew project for someone else. And that's when I really saw like how much value this could help someone if I could get this process down. So I'm still figuring it out, how to produce cut and sew the best and most efficient way. But yeah, I was taking some risks and trying new suppliers, and I lost a lot of money, truthfully, because I would always do the right thing. If those jackets didn't turn out right. I took the loss. It just didn't feel right, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. It's good, man. It's good business.
Deep down moral behavior that I've been fucked over.
Pesky fucking morals.
I don't want to fuck people over. So
yeah.
I want to help people. That's all I wanted to do, and that's been the mindset since I started. Is I want to help people. I want to help people, and it's given me the patience to be able to like help people that don't know anything about like this shit. So
yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to clothing in general, that you can take a huge loss on it. Like if anyone for some reason, you send out a piece of product and it's damaged, something that you looked over, and they're like, hey, this is fucked up. Well, you have to send them out a whole new piece.
Yeah.
And that's
shipping
and all that, and that's just money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Essentially, you made the money up front by them buying it, but then if it's a wash, you have to send them out a whole new piece, and then all that money's gone.
Yeah.
And if that's at a larger scale where you have 50, 100,000, whatever pieces it may be, and they're damaged, well, that's all money out of your pocket.
Yeah, and we sample now, as you guys know.
Yeah, sampling helps.
Huge.
That's game changer.
Up to 3 samples per wholesale order now. But my first year doing this, I would accept the money from the customer. I would pay my supplier in full.
Yikes.
And my supplier would ship the whole order.
Ooh, yeah.
Yikes.
And literally just like stepping on like thin ice. Every order.
I bet you
every
that was
order I was
stress.
crossing my fingers.
Yeah, that was stressful.
How'd you come to the decision or figure out, hey, I can't just accept all the product at once. I need to actually see that, this is how we want it to look and feel and everything.
Yeah, it was the supplier I was working with.
Yep.
I lost a lot of money off that supplier, unfortunately, and I'm like, I know there are other people in the world that do this.
Yep.
So it was about the supplier I was working with. It's crazy. My first cut and sew order ever actually came out correct, and everything was good. So
nice.
That wasn't a good learning lesson, though.
Right.
Because I thought, okay,
and you're like, now
this
is good. Yep.
So it definitely took a lot of fails and money lost to turn it into what it is now. And I do apologize to all my first customers that worked with me that way, because it's just like,
it's a growth, man.
I was risking their money, but at the same time, I was the one taking the loss.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
if something didn't turn out right, I was the one, losing the PayPal claim. Refunding
for those, is your customer return rate been pretty good, even with those initial screw ups and everything like that?
Yeah. I guess the problem with our model is it's just hard to own a clothing brand, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Like, it's no joke. It's
something.
It's something that you need to be consistent with. And some people would order 50 bomber jackets from me, probably sell like 40 of them, pocket the money, then they got no money to reinvest back into the business.
Right.
A lot of people just think that even I've had some people purchase $30,000 collections from me, where they're just like, this is it, I'm going all in.
And that's when I would immediately go, you're a dumbass. Like,
I've learned that I need to tell people to take it slow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so with that, because obviously I think the way that we've done it is been good so far, where it started out with just t-shirts, all that, and then slowly, as the years gone on, evolving into higher end product and everything like that, when you have capital to actually be able to put up front to be able to do it. But you obviously have a lot of customers that are like not established yet, and they're going all in with custom pieces. What's been your take on the right way to go about that? I mean, if you have endless funds, you have endless funds. Cool. And like, do whatever you want.
I mean, you want to create a profitable business though too.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, we talked about this on the last podcast.
Yeah.
People hitting us up and they're like, I got all these ideas, right? And they throw it all at once, and I'm like, your business is not cash positive.
No.
Like, you're not making money. You're in the hole.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah. The goal is to create a profitable,
correct,
long-lasting company. And
so how do you go about it when you have a potential new client who hasn't even maybe they've been around for a year,
Yep.
or they haven't even launched yet, and what they're launching at the start is custom pieces from you. What's going through your head when you get approached by people like that?
People that want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah,
or,
right from the start, that aren't that essentially have no idea what they're doing themselves.
Yeah. Like in my position, it's hard not to, accept that $25,000
For
order,
sure.
and it's like, it's a great order for me or whatever.
But you want more of those, not just one.
I need consistency.
For sure.
I don't need a one and done order.
Right.
And what I'm starting to guide people is start slow. Even start with one cut and sew product in 2 color versions.
Yep.
Where it's 2 different SKUs, and you have some options, and it's best to just start slow. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You got to take it one step at a time. You start with one product, your first collection, and then your next collection is 3 products. And then your next collection, maybe you stay with 3, and then your next collection after that, you grow to 5. But it's definitely not something where if you don't have any following, you don't want to just jump in with 10 different SKUs, $30,000 in debt, all this product that you're unsure of that you're able to sell.
Right.
Like it's different when, say, you have a nice following on social media, like personally. It's a little different where you have supporters, but I do have a lot of people that have no following. They just want to start this, big clothing company. And any major brand, they grew their collection to what it shows on their website now.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't just start with 30, 50 products it shows on their website. They're starting with very few pieces and growing step by step. I always say brick by brick.
Yeah.
And that's what I would guide people to do.
But do you think it's weird though that like people, I try to like come at it a different angle, like why do they think that's a smart move? Because it's like you either have that option or brick by brick, slow and steady, which is what we do.
Yeah.
And it just boggles my mind. Is that like they're just,
it's
you know what I mean?
A lot of those type of people are the designer, and they just have all these designs,
right?
And they don't understand that you can have them under your belt. It's like a music artist. I mean, you have say 50 songs under your belt that you haven't released.
Yep, like we do that same thing with designs. Is we bankroll a shitload of stuff
right there, man.
Like you have to have that for progression. Like if you're not 2 seasons or a season ahead, you're fucking behind.
Yeah.
And question for you: when do you help out a lot with? Because obviously, if you're doing custom pieces, you're not going to sell it at a stock wholesale price in terms of like on your site. Like if you get blanks and screen print them, you're able to keep that cost down because overall it's it's not as expensive for you to make, so you don't need to make it as expensive for your consumer. But when you're doing custom pieces, you I guess have the right to upcharge a little bit because it is one of one product. So when you have someone coming in that doesn't have a following, doesn't have a solid foundation in terms of business, how do those people justify, selling a hoodie for $75?
No shit.
When they're like, okay, well, yeah, it's custom, but who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Right. Like, do you coach people in terms of what they should sell their product at and stuff like that?
Or do you feel that's stepping on the toes because that would be made,
So,
you're running their business, right?
Yeah.
So,
I like to help people when they ask me, but otherwise I respect what they want to sell it at.
Yeah.
If they're trying to create a high-end brand, I'm not going to tell them, no, you can't sell that hoodie at $220. Like that's way too high. But
it works in some brands.
Some people create a unique enough product, and I'm at the level of being able to cater that quality where they want to go try to sell that hoodie for $200, then I'm going to let them, and they'll learn. I mean, they're going to learn regardless. That first order, how quick they sell those hoodies. I bet, even if it's a really unique product and you're trying to sell it at $200, you probably could have sold them out within a couple weeks if you sold it at, say, 65 or 80.
Yep.
So it's hard to tell people where to sell their product at because they're like, I'm trying to create this high-end brand though, and I don't want to like totally shit on their dreams.
Yep.
a lot of people know their price point of what they want to build.
It's just doing your homework, though. You know, you got to
Yeah.
look at competitive market. You got to look at what wave that you're in or crowd, and then you have to
Yeah.
kind of get on that same level.
Yeah,
or
supply and demand.
Yeah, it's supply and demand, and it's like stuff like that you know, in what you're doing it's huge, because then you have to kind of, like what you said, well, I could have put these hoodies at $50 a pop plus shipping, but I could have made 3 times as many
Yeah.
for the long game, instead of like I only have 10 $220 hoodies.
Yeah,
right?
starting out, I would definitely recommend anyone to have reasonable price points, no matter how unique the product is.
Right.
And then you grow your brand into this, you know, higher level of a price point.
Right.
A lot of people might disagree with that, but I've just seen it firsthand so much, where if you start, you know, down here and grow your brand into this quality level, people are going to come back and understand why that hoodie is now $220, because they received the first one, they're like, holy shit, this is the nicest hoodie I've ever got.
Right.
And a lot of people don't start that way.
Yeah,
They want to start right away selling that hoodie for $200, and I would guide them to start at $80. You know, that's still an expensive hoodie, but it's still like a quality level.
Do
you know
you
what I
ever
mean?
ask them, like, put it on, like, why, like, hey Bobby, why do you want to sell this for $220? Like, are you ever like?
It's
I'm
because
always
of like
Ego?
well, Off-White sells their hoodies for $600.
Oh, okay.
They
But see-
compare.
Yeah.
They compare the
Themselves.
industry, and it's like, well, Virgil's been a beast. Like he's
For
For
years,
years.
yeah.
Like even before
The Louis Vuitton account
Off-White,
and shit, yeah.
Like like he was Kanye's creative director. Like he earned his way to be able to sell hoodies at that price point. You haven't earned your way to sell those hoodies at that price point yet. And it's not just the quality of the product, it's how you're portraying yourself.
It's the supreme, I guess. Everyone, do you see nowadays, like, everyone thinks they can be supreme in terms of, and what's your take on, like, something like Supreme, where you're like, dude, that's
Fucking genius.
That's a Gildan t-shirt and it's $500.
Absolutely, that dude was in the market. That guy's a genius. He started in '84, didn't he? Yeah, 1984.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And then he just
a
started
skate
picking
shop
up.
in New York.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
mean,
when you see, I guess this is a better way of putting it. I know we have our views on it when we know how much something costs to make and everything, and then you see the retail value of it.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I can't justify that. Where in your mind, because you're kind of, you don't, for you, when you make it, you don't get the same. If someone's selling something for $5 or $10,000, it doesn't matter to you, because you're not getting any of that. You're just creating it.
Yeah.
So in your mind, when you see someone that's selling something at such a high price point, when you know how much it costs to make, what's kind of your reaction in terms of, like, holy shit, like, that's wild?
Yeah, my thing is branding. I mean, it's not all about product.
Yeah.
It's about branding.
Yeah.
And you guys obviously know you know everything about it, like how you portray yourself on social media with your brand. A lot of people just think they can, you know, buy a product, throw it on the ground, or throw it on a model and take a picture, and that's it. But
Right.
it's a lot more than that, and it's really how they're portraying themselves is how I would answer that.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Not necessarily the product cost, but how they're portraying the brand in general.
Yeah.
You know, if you're throwing that hoodie on the ground and taking a picture with your iPhone, I mean, that's not a high level brand. You're already putting yourself way back. You even give yourself a lower retail point because you threw that on the ground, took a picture of it, and thought that was the best way to market that product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all about how you represent yourself
I think
outside of the product. I
Yeah,
think.
the one thing is too is like with the the product, like Alec was saying, like, oh, Supreme's on a Gildan shirt, but like it's not about that. It's the fact the dude manipulated the market for people of what you said, his branding. I mean, back in it was just a skate shop, and then for some reason, all of a sudden, LeBron's wearing a Supreme tee, and everyone goes,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
Then the value
and then
just went
that
up.
value, his stock went from like this to this in
Yeah,
5 seconds.
exactly.
Right? So then he was smart enough to pivot his business and goes, Okay, I'm gonna sell these shirts for $100 a pop.
Yeah,
$200.
exactly.
So he
I bet-
knew that.
Yeah,
and
I bet
that's
his price
what
points
makes
weren't always
no,
high.
they weren't.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the day, I saw his shit at like another skate shop, and it was like a regular price shirt. It was nothing, dude. It was no big deal.
Yeah.
But he was smart on the business, and he took his same. Nothing changed in the business, and he pivoted his price points and made that value go up. I think what's great working with you and what I'm trying to do in creating this brand is I feel the void, though, is not only the cut and sew, but people need to realize that you can get quality stuff like an Off-White, like Fear of God type stuff at a cheaper price point. Because I feel like, you get a big gray hoodie from Fear of God, and I'm like, it's a gray hoodie with embroidery, and he's charging $700. But I feel that there's a void that needs to be filled where we can do cut and sew at a lower margin, but the quality's super high. You know what I mean?
So people think they can entirely bite, say, an Off-White piece,
right,
and sell it at that price point, and you're actually hurting yourself there because you're not creating anything unique. Yes, maybe it's way lower in cost than an Off-White hoodie, but Off-White built a way more established brand than what you have.
Right.
It's just not good to bite Supreme. Like, don't make a box logo. Like, Supreme's already got that on lock. Why would you even try to compete with one of the biggest streetwear brands in the world?
Well, it's almost like the bootleg biting. I don't know why I went down this rabbit hole. Remember Hulk Hogan's kid?
Yep.
Yeah, he posts, because it's easy, put up a Shopify. He's slinging t-shirts. I guess he's in the cars, and he first logo is the Supreme box. People are like, that's so sick. I'm like, does anybody not realize he's just biting the Supreme logo? Like,
yeah, you're really making it harder for yourself when you do that. And with Visionary, you can create your own product. You can create something that's never been seen before. And if you create something that's never been seen before, it'll give you a higher retail value. In general, maybe your brand isn't established enough, but you have a unique product. Right. That's another way
over time,
to hire the
with
value.
You and Visionary, has your ego ever come into play where you had to battle with the fact that you're creating product for other people, that you might not get the recognition for the product because you're not the one that's selling it? Have you ever got to the point where you're like, fuck, like it's a bummer that I'm not getting the recognition for the product that someone else is selling at all? Because, I mean, the ego comes into play with in any sort of, you solely get the satisfaction of being able to create product for other people, because it gets to a point, like, I mean, like here and everything, people recognize us because we're the people that are behind the brand, but it's solely not like, it's not like Jeff and Alec on a t-shirt type situation where that's not
we should do that, though.
That's not the
that shit would be fire.
That's
I'd buy
not
one.
the point. The ego doesn't come into play with that, where you're like, you feel you're so entitled as a person as to why people are buying it, but you're even a kind of even behind the scenes even more. Has it ever been where you're like, oh shit, I wish I got the recognition for that? Or do people, for the most part, because sometimes people are like, I don't want people to know where my stuff comes from, so they'll like push you way behind, where you're like, ah, shit, I put a lot of time and effort into that. That'd be cool to be like, hey, so and so made this for me.
Because you had your brand, or you're doing that, right? Can I say it or no?
Do you mean Frosty? Or?
No.
Your new one.
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. I'm in the trademark process.
Gotcha.
But,
yeah, that's what I didn't want to say.
But to answer your question, I've never really had that ego. I would be happy, in a cave, totally unseen. But
we won't let that happen, will we, Alec?
Yeah.
I would be okay with that. I would be okay to be in my lab and just know that I produced for that brand. I'm not like, where's the shout, bro? Like, where's the recognition? Like, I appreciate you guys doing what you do for me.
Yeah.
But everyone else, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's not why I do this. And for me to know deep down in my cave that I created that in my lab, that makes me happy.
That's rad. Is that why you haven't, put your face to the visionary brand?
Yeah.
All these years, because I mean, you, like you said, like we've had endless conversations about like, hey, show who the fuck you are, and it doesn't even need to be the fact like, hey, what's up? I'm
You mean like a quick trip video?
Yeah, I own vision. It's not even that aspect. It's because the people behind the brand nowadays matters. It does.
It does.
And
I definitely learned that.
Because it shows trust. It shows, these people are the ones that are behind this right here.
Yeah.
And for you, it's important, but it might not be as important as if it were your own, like, I'm selling this product. You're creating product for people, but it's still important for people to be like, oh, that's the dude that makes the product for everyone. Right. Because it just puts trust out there. Yeah. So it's not even here. It's not even an ego thing. Like, we do this, blah blah blah. It's like who fucking cares?
You guys do it right.
Yeah,
but like for me, for example, being a customer to you, so using me as a pure example, why he's on point with that, and why I'm like, dude, you need to get in front of the camera. You can still be in your cave and be the clothing wizard, but do I trust, because it's my money, it's a lot of fucking money. Am I gonna give it to a dude in a third world country who I've never seen, who just hit me up on my Instagram feed and like shows me blanks that he's stealing from other companies? Or do I trust a dude that I've had a meeting with, you're here, and I'm like, cool, it's the vibe, and so I'm more willing to take more of my capital and keep throwing it at you as we grow, because again, it's what Alec's saying, it's building the trust, and that is a massive, I don't even think it exists in this industry where people aren't doing what you're doing, curating the product, but they can meet you and you actually have a conversation with them, and I go, okay, Blake, I'm giving you $3,000 of my hard-earned money to make product. Okay, I'm definitely willing to do that. Than a guy that I don't even know if he's real. I don't know if it's a bot. I mean, dude, I'm getting 20 plus a day, right? So that's where you're going to win in the big long game, is that more people are going to figure out cut and sew, or try to, but they're not doing what you're doing. So you can still be the hidden wizard, but you know what I'm saying?
There's a balance.
I think it's the utmost important part of it is, I mean, you can email someone all day and you have no idea who the fuck you're talking to, man, woman, whatever it may be, but to be able to, like, not even say have a face of, because not everyone that you work with is going to be able to sit down and have a meeting with you face to face, but to actually just be able to get on the phone and have a phone conversation and not have a language barrier or anything like that, is like, oh yeah, I know, here are my questions were answered, this is how we're going forward with it, right? I feel good now. That's huge. And it's not even for you, like, the fact of, oh, I need to show who I am. It's even to be able to show who I am, that, hey, now these people know that they have the capabilities of speaking with you. That's huge.
Definitely.
It's not even an ego factor of, I run the brand. It's oh shit, I know that I can actually have a conversation with this
though,
dude.
like, and that's the huge thing too, is like, and you and I, we never go into it as an ego thing, but it's people want to know. It's just people are living through the phone, right? And then the Insta stories and seeing what's going on, what makes Alec tick, like, why is he like Quick Trip so much? What's up with that? Like shit like that.
The pizzas are great.
And so, but people just want to know that, like, you're like them. You know what I mean? Like, and that's really what it boils down to. You know what I mean? In business,
the past 2 or 3 years, I definitely wouldn't have just came out of the gates that way, to be honest. But like the past like 2 or 3 years, like, I've definitely realized that when my customer gets to know me, or even see a face, they just trust me a lot more than
for sure
any other person in my position in the world, just because I'm a genuine guy and I care just about the process and what they're receiving.
And I'm a very old school, like, if I'm doing any type of business or working with you, like, I had to meet you, I had to meet the team of guys that you're with, and I'm kind of like, what's the vibe? I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this. Like, the first horrible experience, it's like red flags are popping up. I'm like, this is not the way I'm looking or expanding the brand, I'm like, this does not make sense. Like, I got to have someone that understands what they're doing, sees my vision, sees where we're going on the growth scale and what we want to do with it. And I want them along for the ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, man, when I met you first time, that it definitely helped break down those walls. And right away, I'm like, I'm more willing to work with someone like that.
Yeah.
To
Which
piggyback off that in terms of like the team working, because you obviously can't do it alone.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. What has been your process, and has it been difficult for you to? Because I know delegating is hard. It's hard to put your trust in your product into the hands of other people to help you out. What's been your process in putting together the right team, knowing that they're going to be able to execute what you want, what your company stands for?
Yeah. So how I've done it is just taking it in small increments. So we'd try someone out for 3 months. If it goes well, we continue. If it doesn't go well, then we
part ways.
And I state that before that even starts. I'll be like, we're going to try this out for 3 months. If it works out, then we're going to keep going.
Smart. Yeah.
That's how I've built my team in-house. And then same thing goes with my suppliers. Like, I have suppliers in like 6 different countries at this time. That's how I really do it, is just taking
trial and error.
3 months at a time is like my rule of thumb.
It's good.
How many times have you been shit on?
I've lost over $50,000 doing this shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Developing,
Yeah.
doing the right thing and not leaving someone with some bad product, like, because that kills my reputation. That's why I've never wanted to do that.
That's everything in this business. Like you anyone nowadays puts out, oh fucking, I got my product done by Visionary, and it was fucking dog shit.
I think it's anything, man. It's any business.
So
I think reps
even when
everything.
say it does turn out like dog shit and they're not happy, doing the right thing, helps them come back around and keep that good word of mouth.
For sure.
So I've always taken the financial loss to better the brand.
So what's your team?
So I guess I invested into branding at that point. But
what's your team look like in terms of what people? Because you're the big dog, and then you obviously have the people that help you out. What's your team look like? What are people assisting you, helping you out, and all that kind of stuff?
Yep. So we have about 5 sales representatives that help us out. Got Tyler, our creative director, all video, photo, design work done by him. We got Eddie, helps us with shipping,
What's
deliveries.
What's his real name?
Dapo. Shout out Dapo.
Yeah.
Dapo Security.
Such a dope
boss.
name. Such a
I
cool
don't know.
name.
Scrap the Eddie, man.
Yeah,
he's
come
screwing
on.
that up. We'll let him know when I see him next
Yeah.
time. What's up, Dapo? He'll be like, huh? Why are you calling me that?
Yeah. But yeah, it's growing. Now we're adding on one of my guys, Quam, Stephen Quam. He's gonna be helping us with more customer service type of tasks this year. So it's a growing team, and it's a big deal for me to take on people on a salary. That's why I haven't just like built this like crazy big team. I've been doing most of the tasks to make the company more profitable.
And you're moving. Well, you have your spot out in LA, but from your original spot, you're moving into the city. That's
so
super
what happened,
awesome.
like deep down, like very truthful, is we tried the LA thing.
Yeah.
And I expanded too quick. I mean, I can only be in one place at a time. And I would go out to LA once a month, hold it down for 2 weeks out of the month, and I'm just like, this is not how we should be building this. And so this year we're actually scrapping the LA office.
Okay.
I know how to be in LA now. That's probably the best thing I gained from
You got something out of
doing
it.
that.
Yeah.
Is I know exactly how I can be in LA with this business when the time is right. I know downtown LA pretty well now. I know exactly where I could be in the fashion district there. I know how to do it, which is the best thing. So we're going to put it on hold until the time is right. But what we did was basically scrap that office, put that money towards a really legit office in Minneapolis. We're going to be in Northeast now.
When
Sick.
because you're in construction right now, do you have a date where you're like that you want to be up and running out of that new office?
Yep. February. Probably the second week of February, we'll have everything
so pretty
like
quick
set
here.
in stone.
Nice.
It was supposed to actually be this month, but they don't have like the heat ready.
It never fucking like I remember we were supposed to move in here and it kept getting pushed back month
So
after
annoying.
month after
Yeah.
month. So our original move-in date was supposed to be like the first of the year. We didn't move in here until like March 30th or something like that of 3
But you go,
years
yeah,
ago.
you only can control what you
Yeah.
can control and
Yeah.
make the best of it. But I think it's smart, man. Yeah, you did that. I can like totally understand why you tried the LA office though. Like, or did it? I get it. Like, I totally get
It's
it.
the same thing that we were just talking about in gaining trust.
Yeah.
When people meet me
Yeah.
and sit down with me,
Right.
we had a showroom set up, so they had all the products
Mhm.
firsthand that they could feel and everything. Like, it was a great experience. Like, the type of clientele there is so much more developed even.
Mhm.
It's insane. Like, absolutely shits on Minnesota. Like, no
Yeah. Well,
disrespect
there is
to
no-
Minnesota, but it's
no.
just like
Keeping it real, there is no
so many
fashion here.
people that I met with were like so about their shit, and it even made me a better producer because I'm trying new things that are just way harder to
Right.
produce.
Yeah.
So it was a really good experience. I'm still gonna go out there like every couple months because I have some clientele that
Yep.
I want to just stay connected with. But yeah, it was a good experience. Basically, we're just putting our eggs into a better office here.
Yeah.
Making
Yeah, it
that our
looks rad.
HQ.
It
I mean,
looks
dude, with
really rad.
technology now, that's the thing that we've realized too. Is everyone's like, "Are you guys a West Coast brand?" And we've been getting this since we started. And I'm like, "Well,
We
I
get
mean,
that. Yeah,
technically, but we're based out of Minneapolis. But like, I mean, there's opportunity. Where, I mean, as things grow, you're kind of like, oh, what if we ventured this way? But with e-commerce, it's like, dude, we reach the world.
So we were weighing it out. Like, do we want to get a better office here? Do we want to stay here and have the LA office? And it all came down to just, creating an online business.
Mhm.
Like, we're not trying to create storefronts all over the
Yeah.
world. Like,
Right.
we want to be this online supplier that people can trust. And we get that every day as well. Are you guys from New York? Are you guys from LA?
Is that funny? They
Can
just
we
assume.
meet up?
Mm-hmm.
And then I go, where are you located? I'm in New York. And I'd be like, well, we're in Minneapolis. And they'd be like, oh, I just assumed you're from New York.
Yep.
And that's really cool. That's
a good
a
thing.
really good, first vibe from them. But that's just not how I wanted to grow the business.
Well, you have the capabilities of having a really cool spot here in the cities at a much lower cost and put all the money that you would be spending like out in LA or New York and put that towards growing what you already have.
Yep, exactly.
You don't need to, because I mean you can hop on a flight and be anywhere in a matter of hours.
Exactly.
Think business owners are realizing that though, right? They're like understanding, why am I spending so much overhead because I'm in LA? It's like, dude, move to Houston, and
so
now you can have like twice the size of the office,
The money
right?
that I was spending on that office could have went into social ads,
Totally.
targeting the LA area. That
Yep.
whole time I learned, and obviously I couldn't just like flip the switch and just be like, let's do this. But that was one of my biggest takeaways, and actually why we decided to pull back from LA is because it was even just making it like harder on me. Like, someone would want to meet next week and I'd be stuck here, no travel booked or anything, but all of a sudden I'm booking this last minute flight just to go meet with this guy.
Yeah.
And then that guy, feels us out and says we're the right fit and never comes through on an order. Then I lose.
Now you're all that money in the hole.
Yeah.
You ever think about doing like Skype type shit where you like, set up a big screen and you're like, hey, what's up? I mean, that could be a really huge advantage for your business.
What's up? It's Blake.
yeah. Doing the videos. I mean, right? I mean, not like saying
FaceTime
like,
too.
Yeah, just FaceTime because
FaceTime, phone calls, even phone calls help that situation a lot.
For sure.
Where they can hear my voice. FaceTime would help even more where they're able to see me.
Right.
But it's just not needed. How we're trying to grow the business. We want to, grow even into the UK. Like, we want to be supplying brands in the UK with our services eventually.
Yeah, that crush for you guys, especially with the vibes that you put out and and
Yeah,
the quality
yeah.
you put out there. It's so yeah.
And-
When I originally saw you guys, I'm like California, New York, and then the UK for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And that was one of my goals, like with the company when I started, was to have like offices in
Yep.
London, New York, LA. It doesn't even matter anymore.
It doesn't,
yes,
man.
Yes,
Doesn't.
maybe we do that someday, but it's totally an online business. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
how the whole e-commerce and the world is moving, is less storefronts, physical locations, and more online.
The cool thing
presence.
is you can flip it though. The more successful your e-commerce and the online goes, then you can make that decision like, hey, let's actually
if
go
it
to
goes
LA.
well, then it's just a boost.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
why not? Because
Yeah.
it makes sense, right? And then it's more of, I just see you like, what's funny is I just think of like some of the stuff that you're doing and where you could go with your brand is like having conferences like in
Yeah.
LA of like teaching people like, this is the cut and sew world, like helping them
Yeah.
out, realize like, and even people like, I'll be honest, it sounds like there's a void with these kids that are coming to you with 30 grand, make me these hoodies or whatever, and you're like, don't do that. Like
Yeah.
that's, you can, but I would highly recommend, because like the mindset I've always had is like slow and steady wins the race, and it's like I think that's just people being super impatient.
Yeah.
It takes time, man. You got to build the brand. I mean, shit, the first shirts we did, dude, like they were bad. Like, you know, but it's a process. You figure it out and your product and your brand just gets better over time. I'm sure the same thing happened with you when your
Yeah.
first cut and sew pattern you did compared to now. It's
Yeah.
probably not even in the same ballpark, right?
Yeah, it actually blows my mind just like where we started,
It's crazy, right?
like how we were producing compared to now.
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
I think we all
Complete
we all
180.
get in our own fucking heads too, because he's always my voice of reason. Where Alec's like, dude, think about where we've come from. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, slanging shit out of a fucking house, you know, or a
Yeah.
townhome or apartment, to now, but then my mind's like, I want to just go, you know, take it to a whole new level. This,
Yeah.
you know, moving forward, you know, and that's the advantage. Like slow and steady working with you, I think the product is just so much better, man. Like I even showed a couple of the dudes in the band took the samples of the boxer briefs. Then they texted me. They said, "Dude, these fucking briefs, dude, they're so nice." I'm like, yeah, no,
Man thongs next.
yeah, assless chaps coming your way. But yeah, man. So what's the next steps now? We're in the new year, 2020. We don't do the resolution shit. That's shit's whack. At least I don't. Alec does though.
I'm doing it now. I decided I'm doing it, so I'm doing it. Yep.
So what's the plan now? I hate when people say, "What's the plan for visionary in 5 years?" I'm just like,
Yeah.
what's more now? It sounds like you're honing in on the fact you've realized, okay, I don't want to spread myself too thin. I'm going to bring it back in, hone it in. Now, what's the next steps for visionary as a business, or even you personally? Like, what are you looking to do?
Yeah.
Big
I
question.
mean, with visionary,
Yeah.
I want to provide more, insightful value, like the new videos that we
Yeah, they're
posted
great.
in that section.
I like that.
We want to provide value and knowledge at the right way. Like
Mhm.
you said, like I'm not someone that knows everything about starting a clothing brand. Like I've actually failed like 2 or 3. And like I don't have that knowledge, so I've always been hesitant on releasing that. But I do want to give people more value this year on the industry,
Mm-hmm.
and then I want to show my face more and gain more trust
Fuck yeah.
from new customers.
Yeah.
I want them to know who they're working with. I want them to know, if they get to know me deep down, hear my story.
Right.
Maybe they do.
Yeah.
But even just knowing me on a first level basis of, okay, this guy seems pretty legit.
Yeah.
We'll feel him out, see if it works out.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably my biggest goal, is sharing my story and letting the world know, how to build their brand more.
Right.
So in the right way. Like I don't want to come off as one of those, like those entrepreneur guys.
Yeah,
like
right.
we've talked about.
Motivational
Like, yeah, I
fucking
don't
bullshit.
want to be that, and I never wanted to be that. So
10 easy steps to starting a clothing brand by Blake Anderson.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
don't do that.
No. No.
sucky. But yeah, I mean, dude, I think it's great.
I would rather get like Bobby Hundreds, like hit him up with a phone call or an email,
Right.
and ask him all those questions. You know what I
Totally.
mean? Like get someone that really knows their shit, and then maybe I'm the host. But
yeah, I'll be honest with this industry too. It's very intimidating for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, like cut and sew and like diving into that. I mean, shit, even in screen printing with blanks, it can be intimidating. But just heavily with what you're doing is all about trust. I
Yeah.
mean, 100%. Because I mean, I'm not doing the cut and sew.
I know.
Like, you know, I have to
I-
trust you and your team to make the vision come to life. And
yeah, and I learned even with you guys that my best client relations are the ones that know that we're gonna figure shit out.
Yeah.
You know, if something goes wrong, we're gonna figure it out
Right.
to make it right and do the right thing. A lot of these people, you know, hit me up with phone calls like just screaming at me and shit. And if you really knew me and you know that I got you, then you wouldn't have came at me that way. You
Right,
know, it's
right,
just
right,
like
right.
a
No-
full cycle of
Is
trust.
that your goal? No screaming 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all positive
Don't
vibes.
yell at me.
2020.
Don't yell at
Positive
me 2020.
vibes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean, it's gonna happen. There was a couple things, but shit, my experience working with you took care of it. I was like, that wasn't supposed to be there, and that's totally out of your control. Like, you sent it to the person that, or the company, the people that are making it, and it's human error. Shit happens,
and
right?
that's my team.
Yeah,
That's my
and-
team. I have to take fault for
Yeah.
their mistakes.
And you were like, "Oh, I got you, man. We'll do another batch." I'm like, "Sick." I
I
didn't
feel
have
like
to
a
worry.
lot of people in my position like don't have that mentality where
Right.
that's my team. I have to, you know, take responsibility for everything they do.
Right.
Someone with the wrong ego in my position could really fuck things up. But,
Totally.
But yeah.
Well, this was fucking rad. We can, a lot of stuff figured out about you and learned about you, which is super cool. Hopefully, people that answer some questions and they can take some value from it. And
Anything you want to end on, by the way? Anything you want to shout out? Plug?
Shout out life. Shout out life.
Life is
We
good.
woke up today.
Fuck yeah.
Unfortunately,
woke up today.
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, so tell people where they can reach you at, man.
At Visionary Manufacturing on Instagram. Yeah.
This is
Visionary
Blake. This is
can-
Blake
yeah,
Anderson,
we
by the way,
can-
not the
we'll-
guy from Workaholics.
Yeah, we'll put all your.
Did you know that I met him?
Yeah, that's amazing. It's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. It's so dope.
Hey, Blake, I'm Blake.
Yeah, it's
I'm
awesome.
Blake Anderson. Yeah, I'm Blake Anderson.
So
too.
we'll put all your tags on the YouTube clip because we'll post this back on YouTube. We're back filming stuff. We got Austin here filming like a pro. And any advice? I guess the last thing I want to end on, what would be any advice you want to give to someone, either doing what we do, starting a clothing brand, wanting to do cut and sew, like any advice for someone trying to, if they're starting out, like they
If you're
just
just
heard
starting.
this, yeah,
If you're just
and
starting,
they're interested in clothing,
I would say to develop the idea before launch. A
Oh,
lot
for
of people
sure.
are trying to develop the idea
Post launch.
during the time of growing their business.
yeah,
And that's not the best way. Like, I really recommend developing the brand for even 3 months, even a month. I mean, I hate to say even a month, but at least like 3 to 12 months of development before you even bring the product to the market is a big thing. Getting your trademark is probably my second piece of advice, because like Frosty, I mean, that completely squashed everything that I was working on. So those are probably the top 2 tips right there,
for sure.
and taking it slow. So
Slow, baby, turtle pace. I
Well,
love
you
it.
heard it. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll be with you. We'll put all Blake's info if you want to get in contact with him, questions in the links and everything. So thanks for hanging out with us for the
thanks,
past
man. Appreciate you.
Yep.
hour or
thanks for
so,
having me.
coming in early, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Later.
See ya.